What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rock Fantasy Files. Here we have a very special edition of Rank and File. We're going to be talking about Pantera. We're going to rank all the Pantera albums, even the glam ones, from 9 to 1.
Nice.
And we'll talk about our favorite songs off each album and all that kind of stuff. If you've been watching the Rank and File episodes, you know how it goes. I'm very excited to have a couple newbies to Rank and File
Oh
with
yeah, all right.
Tony Dio and Count Ralphus. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
Friday night. We're available
yeah.
because we're losers and we don't go out on Friday nights anymore.
All five of us are fucking losers. So we got Ovi from Norway, as always. And we got
Staying
Christian
up
from
late.
Connecticut.
So,
And we're going to start off the show with Christian from Connecticut. So we're going to go around two loops. We're going to do our 9 to 6 and then 5 to 1. So, Christian, kick it off.
all right. So I'm going to get this started. So this is kind of an interesting ranking to do because, getting into Pantera, like I knew, um, the classic, Cowboys, Vulgar, Far Beyond Driven and whatnot. I always like heard of the glam albums, but I never listened to any of those or discovered them until much, much later. So it was interesting going through listening to this album. So my number nine, um, I don't know how some people are going to feel about this, but it's actually not going to be one of the glam albums. It's going to be one of the ones from the 90s. And for me, it's going to be The Great Southern Trendkill. I know there's people that would probably rank that higher, but I like the title track on that one. Um, the rest of the album, most of it is just kind of so for me. I do like this song Floods. That is some cool parts to it. Um, but this one was, I don't know, they were getting kind of like just very dissonant type of sounding. Like it was definitely, they weren't trying to go for like a mainstream sound, which I guess is why they called it the Great Southern Trendkill. But um, when I bought that one when it came out, really tried to listen to it and get into it a lot, but I never really got into it, and I kind of moved away from Pantera after that one came out. That's my number nine. Number eight is probably going to be one that I'm sure most people would have at the bottom. That's going to be the debut, Metal Magic. Um, I don't have the album art, but I'm wondering if someone there has that
Oh yeah,
beautiful artwork to show everyone. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, gorgeous.
How
Uh,
Panther Man never took over Eddie from Iron Maiden as like the greatest
I know, man.
mascot
Panther
ever.
Man, it's great, man.
Yeah.
no, yeah, a great mascot. Um, but yeah, this one. So, I mean, the opening track, "Ride My Rocket," it kind of sounds like Detroit Rock City a little bit to me. I think like it. You could definitely hear the Kiss influence on this album. It kind of sounds like Def Leppard too. Like you get that influence. Actually, the title track I think is another one I kind of like. Metal Magic and what's the other one? I think it's the second one. I'll Be All Right. That one has a pretty cool riff in it. Um, not a bad debut album. I mean, I think you hear right away that Dime is a pretty talented guitarist. I think he was only 16 when they did this album.
That's right.
16,
Correct.
17, yeah.
So yeah, not bad. So number seven is going to be the one right after that, Projects in the Jungle. This one, I think, overall it's a little bit better, and I think like you can hear the band is getting better. Oh, that's a beautiful album cover too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great. Just gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Um, I like the song Out for Blood. The title track is pretty good. Project in the Jungles. And the song Killers, I think, is also another good one off of that one. But yeah, overall a little bit better than the debut. Um, but not as good as some other ones on the list. So now I'm coming up to number six. This is not from the Glam era, but this is one of the newer or last album that they did, and that's Reinventing the Steel. Like I said, I kind of jumped off or kind of stopped listening to Pantera when Southern Trendkill came out, so I never really didn't really pay attention to this one when it came out, but it's pretty good. It seemed like they kind of moved it like every album, I think after Great Southern Trendkill was kind of getting more um I don't know how you want to say, more dissonant, more kind of noisy, more kind of experimental. This one they seem to kind of go backwards a little bit. I like the opening track, Hellbound, Revolution in My Name. Another good one. Outcast a Shadow, I think is a pretty cool song too.
Great
And
song.
the other one for that, It Makes Them Disappear. It's another one that I kind of liked off that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, not a bad album. And I think that's that'll be my 9 to 6.
All right. Count Ralphus.
All right, so yeah, like I've actually never listened to these early Pantera albums in their full until today and yesterday. I've heard like a couple songs here and there, and it just wasn't something that interests me. I knew that it was totally different kind of stuff, you know. But so yeah, my number nine's could be Metal Magic, 1983. There's definitely like I can hear like some of the glam parts to it, like Biggest Part of Me. That sounds glam. But the one thing I noticed on all of these is how great Dime is. Dime just stands out. It's like it wasn't a big chore to listen to these albums just because it's great to listen to all the shit that Dime was doing. He's so amazing and makes it all these worth listening to. I probably would have liked this as a kid in '83 if I would have had it. You know, I was into this kind of stuff. It just going back all these years later, I have no frame of mind for this. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much all I'll say about that. I'm not gonna go through all this. Oh, the one song, nothing on but the radio. That was something like there's like so many cheesy fucking song titles that they had
Yeah.
back then. I just have a list out of order, a little list of them that I just put together. But it was like Hot and Heavy, Nothing on but the Radio, Heartbeat Away, Onward We Rock, and the chorus is straight to the top. Rock the World, Hard Ride, Proud to be Loud.
That
That's
one's cheesy.
that's brilliant. And then Pussy Time Tonight, 88. Oh my God. But
That was Daryl's love song to Rita.
That's right.
That's Daryl
that's
singing that. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's Dime singing that song.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, my second one is kind of going in order. It's Projects in the Jungle. Like you guys are saying, another like I don't know if it's like their cousin that was in middle school that was drawing their album covers back then or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a step up from the other one. Out for Blood is okay. The title track, Killers is pretty good. That was like I mean not an original title, but that was a pretty good song. Shit, I can't read my own writing. I try to squeeze everything in, like but then doing 9 albums is a lot of shit I wrote down. But in over my head, Heartbeat Away. Oh, Heavy Metal Rules. That's funny. Another funny title. But there's more straight up traditional metal on this than the debut. But there's still like those glam songs that definitely like kind of make it weak. Then I Am the Night, right in order, 1985. Again, the album cover sucks. Hot and Heavy is glam as fuck. I like the little instrumental that they do, and I like the song "I Am the Night." I thought that was good, and Valhalla is pretty good. Um, Better than anything off the first 2 albums for sure. Onward We Rock, straight to the top, like I was saying before. Daughters of the Queen is uh, Forever Tonight is lame. Down Below is okay. Um, then we get to Phil joining the band. I did might as well show that album, this magazine that I pulled out is this old Metal Forces. This is from the I Am the Night era, and this is their first time, I believe, they're ever on a magazine cover. And this is, those first 3 albums, they really weren't signed to like a real label. They were like kind of putting them out, like his parents were putting it out, and They really thought by getting on the cover of this magazine that that was going to be the step that made him big and got him signed. I got this book, Dimebag. He came to rock. You, you, James, you must have this, right?
Oh yeah. I went when that
And
book came out, I went to Barnes and Noble in New York City and met Vinnie Paul and the father,
oh,
Jerry Abbott. They did a meet and
Nice.
greet.
oh wow,
Yeah,
Killer.
that was really
nice.
fucking cool.
And that was like the first time you could get that Dime Vision DVD, right? Because that comes in the
Hmm.
back of the book.
No,
But
that had
I
previously
got it
come out.
separate.
Yeah, that had previously come out, but the version that comes with the book has a couple of extra minutes of stuff on it that's
Oh,
not on the
hmm.
standalone DVD.
Oh, I didn't realize there was any difference in it. I've made a little mark in here because in this book, there's a page where it talks really quickly about that magazine getting on the cover
Yeah,
and how it was a big deal at the time to get on the cover, and how they really hoped it was gonna make them get signed. But so yeah, then they do that album with Phil, and yeah, his vocal, man, I don't even really hear Phil's voice in there. Like, I mean, he sounds more like Jeff Tate and Halford at times, you
yes,
know.
He was
Um,
18, 19 years old.
yeah,
yeah,
unbelievable, like high vocals when he wants to. Definitely got so much range. I wonder if he could even come close to singing any of those kind of vocals today. It's cool that you get the old original version. Yeah, that Pussy Time Tonight though was crazy. Over and Out, first signs of thrash with that and Down Below. And the title track reminds me a little bit of Exciter. Um, Death Trap was okay. Burn was all right, you know. But yeah, it's like you're getting to see some of that. It's not really thrash, but there is tiny elements of thrash, but it's kind of more of a speed metal, like leaning towards thrash, you know. And it's definitely the beginning of the sound getting heavier. And Phil's definitely, to me, a big improvement vocally over the original guy. And yeah, so
great.
that's my four, and they're pretty much exactly in order of the way they came out.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
right. All right, Ovi,
Yeah.
what do you got from 9 to 6?
Uh, Number nine is going to be Metal Magic, as I assume most will be. Um, I mean, it's a lot of good guitar work and stuff. It's just I wish the kind of the sound and the production kind of holds back a lot. I think there's a lot more to that album if we could probably get back and kind of I don't know freshen it up a bit so we can hear all the elements they put into it and stuff. But I didn't particularly put too much. Thought into the titles. It's more like the music. So I like the title track and Videomaker and Sad Lover. I thought had good guitar. My number eight is gonna be power metal. I guess it's the first one with Phil. Um, the reason why I put it below is I don't feel they have the variety they had on the three first albums. It's kind of like because they re-recorded the Down Below from I'm the Night, and I feel like the other ones have more variety to them. I guess the Dimebag did jam a lot with Kerry King around '88 and stuff, so Kerry King might have something to do with him changing the sound of his guitar back then. There's a video of them jamming like 2 hours on stage on YouTube
Yeah.
if you want to look it up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
that was 89 in Fort Worth at a club. They're rehearsing together because Carrie joins them for the show that night. I've got the bootleg video of it, and
oh, nice.
Carrie comes up on stage and he plays power metal with them and one other song. And it's just this one part that's like a da 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 part that he's having to show Carrie over and over, like slowly how to play it because Carrie's just completely lost, and but he gets it, you know. But it's cool to
Yeah.
watch. It was on YouTube for the longest time.
I
Is
have
that
a
it? Is
bootleg
that
of that,
the
and
audio?
it actually says May 19th, 88 in Fort Worth, Texas at Joe's Garage.
Yeah, 88. Yeah, Joe's Garage. That's the one. Yeah, yeah. I've got the video of that on DVD actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
So Kerry King has a lot to do with it, I think. As the songs, Death Trap, We'll Meet Again, and Over and Out is my favorite songs of that one. Number 7 is going to be Reinventing the Steel. Um, I don't know what to say about this album because it has a lot of good guitar work, but it's the sound is just not there. It's like it's not Pantera sounding to me. I don't get the vibe from Pantera sound. It's kind of like they're moving away from the Pantera sound, and I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. So songs I really like though, you're gonna get to belong to it. I make it makes them disappear. I cast no shadow is my favorites there. We are doing up to 6, right?
Yeah, 9 to
Uh,
6.
yeah, number 6 is gonna be a Projects in the Jungle. This is kind of like it's such a leap from the first album. It's like they have it feels that they really have done their work. They have practiced and evolved. They have really put down every tear and sweat into this album because it's like they're trying to just get off the ground. And definitely there's been rewarded for that. Songs I like is Projects in the Jungle, All Over Tonight, and Taking My Life. I like the guitar solo on Taking My Life. It's so good. I mean, it's like it's the first time you really hear Dime go batshit crazy. Is that solo on Taking My Life? I know it's a kind of a ballad song, but the end of that song is just wow. And he has such a influence from Ace Frehley because there's a song on the Soul album from '78 called Ozone, isn't it?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
it's basically the same lick. So
Yeah.
it's so that's
Yeah,
my
he
nine.
loved Ace.
Yep, that's my 9 to 6.
All right. Tony Dio. I know you got some goodies to show us.
Yeah, man, I got some stuff we can even show some stuff at the end. I've got some stuff put aside here. But I've been a long time fan of Pantera. I actually discovered them about 87. My friend Beth Lewis, who I'm still really good friends with to this day, she was into like a lot of underground stuff and she was always just buying records and stuff. And she gave me a stack of albums. She was moving and she just gave me a stack of albums. Went to her house, but I remember it like Exciter, Violence and Force was in there, and like the first Queensryche EPs, just some stuff that I hadn't picked up, or maybe I had some stuff recorded on cassette, but I didn't own the actual albums. And she gave me some really cool stuff. And in that pile of records was the Projects in the Jungle record. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, what is this? This album cover is pretty lame, but I like, but I put it on and I immediately just got into it, and just been a fan ever since. Not long after that, I was at a friend's place and he had "I Am the Night," so I borrowed that and made a copy of that on cassette to listen to. And I remember having "I Am the Night" on one side and "Projects in the Jungle" on the other side, like a TDK, and it just stayed in the car because you kept cassettes in the car.
Yeah.
So, you know, later on, I found power metal. I actually picked up power metal on cassette. This is an original power metal cassette. I found it in like Camelot Music one day. But I remember Pantera records being you could be seeing them in the record store because I think Beth got that Projects in the Jungle. I think she picked it up like at Record Bar or maybe in where we lived. But yeah, I loved this. I was glad they had, the singer was different. They were heavier. I loved it because I was all into heavier stuff by then. That was like 88. And when Cowboys from Hell came out, it was like we walked into the store. It was the week it came out. I went to a Kiss concert and it was the Hot in the Shade tour. And we were
Yep.
going to the show in Greensboro, North Carolina. We went to the mall before the show to get some food. I remember running into Blas Elias from Slaughter, the drummer, because they were the opening band, and he was like sitting in Chick-fil-A eating. But before that, we went to the record store and I saw the cassettes they were putting out, and I saw Cowboys from Hell, and I was like, wow. these dudes got signed to a major label because I
Yep.
didn't really know much history or anything about them at all. And my buddy was with me. We called him Ozzy. I was Dio. He was Ozzy, believe it or not.
Mm.
But Ozzy was the one that had the I Am Tonight record. So he's like, "Wow, yeah, you got to get that." So I get it. We go back to the car to drive. Well, before that, we were talking to Blas Elias, and he told me that he was from Texas originally. And I pulled the tape out. I said, "Did you ever hear these guys?" He goes, "Oh yeah, man, those guys have been around for years. They played all over Texas." He said, "Yeah, I heard they got signed to a major label." And I was like, "Yeah, well, good for them." So we go and sit in the car, and as soon as it went in, as soon as it kicked in, we were just like looking at each other like, "What the fuck? This is like, doesn't sound like the same band, you know." And we were just like, just blown away. So that was it, Then history, Pantera explodes.
That's
But
right.
so I'm going to start out. My number is actually going to be. I'm along with Christian. Great Southern Trendkill is probably my least favorite of the bunch. Just never really got into this record. I do like Floods and Drag the Waters. Um, I did see him on this tour a couple times, but they I don't know, it's just this record's it's a very moody record. I was never really into the grunge thing, and there's some of the stuff kind of sounds like Alice in Chains in a way on some of the tracks, and Phil's screaming a lot on it too. He's not singing anymore, and I loved when Phil sang, not just like power metal era, but Cowboys and Vulgar. He had a really good voice, and so I just was never really big into this record at all. But from there, I'm gonna go to
Well, the
Reinventing the
interesting thing
Steel.
about this album is that the band recorded in one place and Phil recorded the vocals in another place. They didn't record it
Sounds a little
together at all.
disjointed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a lot of turmoil going on with them at that period,
Yeah.
But yeah, um, next up we're going with Reinventing the Steel, which I just listened to the first time in a long time this week to prepare for
Uh-huh.
this. And this is a good record. It's got some good stuff on. I remember when it came out though, I had moved, I bought it, it's new Pantera, I'm gonna get I keep everything, and I just funny, I took the CD out and it still got the little hype sticker. I stuck it up under the tray, it says the contains Revolution is my name. I always have to keep stuff like that. This is kind of funny. The album cover was always hilarious to me. I'm like, who is this guy? It's like, and they've got part of him, like, I guess whatever he's got in his hand is censored out, whatever. I guess they didn't want to, whatever he was drinking to get a free advertisement or whatever. Because somebody might drink that product and run through a fire and then try to sue Pantera, for putting it on their album cover.
If I remember correctly, I think it's a bottle of Jack Daniels in that kid's hand, and I think Jack Daniels had a problem with their product being put on the cover of an album.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So, but this album, I love Goddamn Electric, and Kerry King does a guest solo on that. Revolution
Yeah.
is my name's great, and I'll cast a shadow. The last track was really good, but good, good record. I remember seeing them on Ozfest during this period, probably the last time that I saw them, and but yeah, like I said, it is what it is, and it's just my particular choices. Um, Next up, number 7, I'm going to go Slaughter in the Vatican. Oh, wrong band. I'm sorry. It's I picked up an X Hoarder CD and listened to it by accident, but nah. Next up for me is going to be Metal Magic, and this is an so I had the early stuff. And actually, this is probably I think this is the last one maybe I even got from the early stuff. This is a reprint. I don't have an original of this, but it does have a reprint of the order form in it, which is really cool, where you can order their t-shirts and stuff like that for $7.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, but I mean, you look at the back of this album, you really can't see. I'm getting a glare, but they were kids.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
they were really just
kids.
kids. I mean, they look like little kids. I mean, Dom's like 16, 17 years old, and but he's killing on guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And so their dad was a country artist and owned a recording studio,
Yep.
like full, like high tech recording for 1983. So they were able to put out demos that sounded totally professional. And then they evidently their dad had a hookup with a label or a pressing plant. They made them and they put them on their own label, which is Metal Magic Records. So they may consider this stuff demos, but it was actually fully released records. I mean, it was out for sale in record stores, a lot more than, demo tapes and stuff like that. And when people talk about Pantera glam, I've never thought they were glam. It's just heavy metal, because at the time period, there wasn't all these different subgenres of everything. I mean, thrash came in, it was thrash metal, but really all the stuff like Rat and stuff like that was just kind of heavy metal. I mean, you got Metal Massacre 1's got, look at the diversity of the bands on that between Metallica, Bitch, Cirith Ungol and Rat all on one record. It's all heavy metal, So I've never really considered them glam or hair metal. They just kind of fell into that category. I mean, they've never been Poison. Poison's a glam band, and they're proud to say they're a glam band, But I don't think Rad ever considered themselves glam. Of course, they call themselves fashion metal. That was pretty stupid. I remember reading that somewhere. But yeah, whatever. But like I said, this album was one I never really got into until the last few years. I was listening to it one day and I was like, wow, these kids did a really good job to be this young and make this record. And then it's got, first thing you hear is Def Leppard. I mean, it sounds like freaking Def Leppard, because Terry Glaze sounds like Joe Elliott. Yes. But it sounds like On Through the Night Def Leppard, and it sounds like new wave of British metal in a way, because, I mean, you've got elements of Riot and Kiss and Van Halen, but it's a lot of new wave of British metal sound. I mean, because one, you got the lower budget production, even though they had a nice studio, it's still kind of low budget. I mean, compared to like stuff that was being released on majors. But some of the stuff sounds like On Through the Night, and some of it sounds like the first couple of Tigers of Pantang records. Very similar to that. I mean, if this came out now and it was just, you made up a band name and nobody'd ever heard this and put it out and said it's some lost new wave of British metal band, I mean, High Roller Records will be repressing it and selling tons of copies of it, some obscure new wave of British metal band, but it's not a bad record at all. Like I said, it's got some cool stuff on it.
I gotta say really quick is that when I listened to it for the first time, maybe because you listened to it more, I get what you're saying, but there are songs that sound like what I would consider glam metal songs, because they have like the cock rock lyrics, and then right next to it will be a traditional metal song. So I definitely like disagree on all of those albums. I go, this one sounds like it could be a glam metal song, and then all of a sudden there's like a faster, more traditional metal song. But there's definitely ones, even in the power metal album, there was even like one or two that I kind of was like, this sort of sounds like it could be a glam metal thing,
Well, to me, there's a difference between cock rock and glam metal, because I've never considered Kiss glam metal, but damn if they don't have some cock rock songs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like
Judas
the earlier
Priest has
stuff
got
that
some
was,
cock rock songs,
yeah, I guess there's certain band, but it's like,
I mean,
I kind of put
Burning
them
Up by
together,
Judas Priest is freaking cock rock. I mean,
well,
and
like
it's on a heavy record.
70s Kiss compared to like Crazy Nights and the Hot in the
Oh yeah,
Shades.
totally
I mean,
different.
there's a lot big difference in that kind of stuff.
But nothing on but the radio that's cock rock, total cheesy type songs. But in the Ride My Rocket, I do hear the influence from the Kiss and stuff on that one. But anyhow, like I said, it was a good start for the guys. And so my number 6 is actually going to be I'm trying to be over here. Is actually going to be I Am the Night. And this is definitely a big progression for the band from like Projects in the Jungle. Another like crazy cover that was like one of their school friends might have drawn at school for them. And of course, this is an original pressing of on Metal Magic. It's got the original ore form. Now talk about a cock rock picture. That's a cock rock picture right there. If there's ever been one right there. I mean, look at
that. Looks like it's right out of the same photo shoot. Yeah, that's the same photo shoot as this.
I believe it is. I believe you're right, Cam.
Yeah, it's got the same pants and everything.
I mean, they were kind of, by then you had Metallica and stuff like that was already out, so you could kind of their influence on this record, the way the songs just just change. I mean, I hear influence of Def Leppard, of course. I mean, there's Judas Priest in here. I hear a lot of Malice, the band Malice. I know Dime loved that band at the time, and of course, the first Malice album sounds like Judas Priest to a lot of people, but they were getting heavier on this record. I mean, if you've ever seen the Hot and Heavy music video, it's hilarious. They've actually got the Panther Man drives up in the old Firebird or Camaro,
Yep.
whatever it is, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And but Only We Rock is a stupid track to me. But I thought I Am Tonight, it showed them they were getting heavier. Down Below's shows what's coming in the future. They're getting heavier with that. Of course, they ended up re-recording that. Valhalla to me is the heaviest song on this record. I mean, it sounds like something that would have been on power metal coming up next. But yeah, they were just kind of all over the place. Forever Tonight's like a total poppy metal song, and I don't know, man. I don't know their backstory about how it was with labels. Did they have people coming out and offering them contracts? Because some of the stuff was just as good or better than some stuff that actually came out on major labels. It makes me wonder if their dad came into play, and their dad being into business as long as he did, read all those contracts that were coming in and were going, no, don't sign this, guys. Because a lot of those bands got totally screwed on publishing and everything, and maybe their father was smart enough to detour them from that. But yeah, so that's my 9 through 6.
All right. Good shit.
I remember a lot of that stuff was talked about in his book here with the family business and stuff. But it's been a while since I read this. But
Need to read that.
I know that. Yeah, I got that. Rex's book was pretty cool too. I read that.
I did read Rex's book.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, there's also an autobiography by the father that came out a few years ago called Looking Over My Left Shoulder, and goes into his own career, him becoming a country artist, and all the busting ass he had to do, and doing lots of studio projects and stuff, working for big artists.
When you see on those early albums and it's produced by the Eldon, it says that was Jerry.
That's Jerry.
That's
right.
His stage name or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. I recommend getting that book. It's a great read, and it goes into the Pantera beginnings, and they really just didn't get offered. They didn't get offered anything a lot. It was that dumb luck that they got signed to Atco when they did. It was a dude from that label had like a layover in Texas and was like, had an extra night to spend. And everybody's like, oh, you should come see this band Pantera. They're really great. And he went and saw them live and was blown away. And that's how they wound up getting the contract with Atco.
That guy sure got a raise.
It was so much harder. It was so much harder to get signed back then. There wasn't a million labels like there are today.
That's
today.
Well,
you don't even
by that time there was all those indie labels were coming. I'm surprised that not even an indie label offered them a deal, but maybe that's what they were trying to stay away from too, because they were like, we can put our own albums out independent and make all the money off of it instead of giving you something.
It's interesting. The guy who discovered them for Atco was Derek Schulman, who was from the band Gentle Giant.
Oh shit!
Wow, crazy.
Huh? That's a cool little factoid.
I little tidbit there.
I knew that dude's name from reading it in the book, but I never realized he was from Gentle Giant. That's pretty fucking cool.
You wouldn't expect Gentle Giant and Pantera to be connected, but there you go.
Right? Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
All right. So
okay, James, you ready? James, you ready to take a black tooth grin?
I am ready to take many black tooth grins. My number 9 is going to be I Am the Night. Now, I am a huge Pantera fanboy, much like I'm a huge Metallica fanboy. I don't think any of these albums suck. This one I don't reach for as much as I reach for the other ones. I have nothing negative to say about it. I love the title track, I Am the Night. I love Onward We Rock is a great song. Down Below is a great one. Valhalla is a great heavy fucking song on this one too. And I really like the little guitar interlude on here. DGTTM stands for Dimebag Goes to the Movies, or Diamond Goes to the Movies. as he was known back then. Cool little
Yep.
guitar thing. I love these early albums. I just call them the glam albums, kind of just because everybody else does. And to me, they remind me of, and not so much that Van Halen was glam, but they do remind me a lot of like early Van Halen and Def Leppard, and got kind of the Rat thing going on too. And this is like something I would put on next to a Dokken album or next to a Poison album. So I grew up with glam, and I don't call it glam with like my nose in the air. I love glam, so I dig all this shit.
I prefer glam metal over hair metal. That's just kind of stupid title. It's like, did
I
you
know
call
Eddie
Duran
Trunk,
Duran hair pop?
yeah, Eddie Trunk
I
hates
hated hair metal. Hair metal
too.
was the dumbest fucking term. I hated that term.
Yeah,
Hair metal.
I mean, hell, thrash bands had long hair, and I mean, were they hair
true.
thrash?
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Hair
yeah,
Doom.
anybody that had long hair.
Yeah.
Hair Doom is going to be my next fucking
Hair
project.
Doom,
Hair Doom.
cool. You're
Number 8
sad
for
because
me.
you ran out of hairspray.
That's right. Number 8 for me is Projects in the Jungle. Great album. All Over Tonight is a great opener. Out for Blood Kills, great tune. I like In Over My Head. I like the goofy, cheesy kind of ballad thing. I'm a sucker for that stuff, so I dig that. Heavy Metal Rules is a fucking great song. And yeah, Killers, great track too. Nothing bad to say. This is, you know, the only negative thing I could say about the last couple of Pantera records is there aren't a ton of Dimebag guitar solos in Trendkill and in Reinventing the Steel, but these albums, it's just nonstop shredding, man, and really shows you what Dimebag was capable of, and at such a young age. And it's really great to just hear him raging and ripping all over this stuff. Dimebag totally stood toe to toe for me personally with George Lynch and Warren DeMartini and Jakey Lee and all the greats from that era, man. Just a fucking fantastic guitar player. Number 7 for me is going to be Power Metal. Great album. Love the introduction of Phil here. This one really to me is more Judas Priesty than it is glammy and Def Leppardy. And it's just killer. It's a great, to me, sounds like a great old school speed metal record. Hard Ride is awesome. I like the cheesiness in that one. I like Burn. I like Death Trap.
Yeah.
Over and Out is awesome. I like Proud to Be Loud. I believe Proud to Be Loud was written by Ron Keel from the band Keel.
Mark Ferrari.
From Keel, right?
Keel. Yeah, Mark Ferrari.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty good version of that tune. And I like the opener, Rock the World. Very epic. Very 80s. I dig it. Number 6, you guys have been slagging this one. I love Metal Magic. I'd put this toe to toe with any other quote unquote glam album from the 80s. I love every second of music on this. Just so good, so catchy. And especially when you consider the age these dudes were and the inexperience and all that, it's just a great, catchy album. I love Ride My Rocket. And yes, that beginning is very, very Detroit Rock City, but it's still a great song. And it's about riding a fucking rocket. You know, it's about his dick, kids. It's about his dick. I'll Be All Right. It's a great
Ride.
song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The same thing with that song.
Yeah, Rocket Ride, right. Yeah, it's Kiss worship. It's great.
You should have said that in your best Paul Stanley.
So all those CDs you're showing, they're all bootlegs that you have to get.
Yeah, they're all
bootlegs.
Russian bootlegs.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they've never been officially released on CD.
Yeah, they don't.
Just cassette and LP. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all Russian bootlegs. I actually bought all 4 of these off eBay during COVID. I just saw them show up and was like, "Yep, gotta get those. Gotta add those to the collection."
Yeah, they did a good job with them.
Absolutely. I really like Tell Me If You Want It. I think that's a great song. Talking about cock rock. That's a
Yeah.
cock rock anthem, kids. Great fucking song. And I love Nothing On But the Radio is my favorite track on this record. I love the lyrics. I love the riffs. I love the guitar solo. It's, dude, I don't know how many times my girlfriend has walked in on me air guitaring to that song and just cranking it drunk out of my mind. Fantastic song.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that was a big hit at their local skating rink in 1983.
Really?
Probably.
Oh, okay. I
In a
thought you
perfect
like had
world.
some inside info. Fucker. And yeah, I like the last track, Rock Out. Good stuff. I like Metal Magic with its awful album cover and the fucking gritty raw production, but the songs are just so goddamn good. It's fun, man. This is fun music. You're supposed to get loaded and just fucking sing about banging. It's good shit.
Mm.
That's
wonder
my
if that-
96.
Wonder if those order forms they would have had Panther Man action figures. That would have probably got him signed to a major
Yeah.
label.
Get on that Super 7.
I was just gonna say that Super 7 should get on that. It would look better than the dime bag figure they just put out. That thing looks terrible. It
Yeah,
looks
and
like
the guitar. What's up the guitar in that? It's not even a dime bag guitar.
he did play that guitar sometimes, but they probably couldn't get permission from Dean to
True,
get an
true.
actual Dean. But the figure itself, it just looks like dollar store dime bag. Like when you get like, you know, a Superman
Dollar
figure
store.
from the dollar store and it says like Incredible Man.
Nickel Man,
when did
nickel,
it start?
nickel
Yeah.
bag man.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
When did it
Nickelback
start
Man.
Nickel bag Daryl.
What was it in 94, 95? It started with Dean because he was on Washburn. Washburn he had for a long, long time.
Well, he was with Dean first.
Yeah,
he
he
played
went
Dean's
Dean
back
first
all
and then
all the early
Washburn.
records. He's playing Dean's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then he went to Washburn for a bit in the 90s and then came back to Dean before he got killed.
Okay. Okay.
Christian,
What's up?
5-1, 1 and
1 to
5.
5.
No one here gets out alive.
All right.
Yeah.
What are your top 5?
So my top 5 are as follows. Number 5, I'm gonna go with "I Am the Night." I think like one of the things that I heard like when listening through these, so I started listening from the first album all the way, just like sequentially. Like you hear Dime, and I think just the band just getting like better and better,
Mhm.
as each record goes on. I like the opening track, "Hot and Heavy." It's a little bit cheesy, but the video is kind of funny to watch. If you're, it's out there on YouTube. So if anyone hasn't seen it, definitely give that one a watch.
Mhm.
The title track, "I Am the Night," is also that's also really good one. Down Below is pretty good. I like Valhalla a lot. That's a pretty cool song. And one of the notes here, the last track on there, "Forever Tonight," I just put my notes saying that the vocals sound kind of wussy on that song, I think. But
Yeah, I don't like that track very much.
The solo is great.
Yes.
yeah, no, there's a lot of really good solos on here. Yeah, so that's my number 5. My number 4, and this one is probably going to rank higher for a lot of other folks. It's going to be "Vulgar Display of Power." So yeah, the opening track is pretty cool. "Mouth for War," "A New Level." I like "Walk." I liked it a lot of the time, but that's one of those songs. It's like I can kind of take it or leave it now. Fucking Hostile is just such a violent song, and that is a
Fucking
pretty cool album
Hostile.
cover. The dude getting hit in the face. That's pretty cool.
Great, great
I
cover.
like the song "Rise." I like "No Good," "Attack the Radical." I even like the ballad at the end, the song "Hollow."
Yes.
I like that
Yeah,
one.
that's really
Yeah. I mean, this is the one where I think where people think of like the tip of the quintessential like Pantera. I just think with their sound, like this is the album I think like probably most people really kind of think of. But yeah, I don't listen to it a lot now, but I did like it a lot, back in back when I was like, middle school, 8th, 9th grade, getting into these guys. But there's just a couple more that rank a little bit higher. Which brings me to number 3, which is going to be Far Beyond Driven. So that's the one that that was when I got into Pantera. That was the first one that I got. So yeah, that was the one that went to number 1 on the Billboard back in 1994. I like the opening track, Strength Yeah Strength. I like the second one, Becoming. Uh, the song Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills.
Yeah.
Some of his are just a little bit creepy on that one, I think. Like, they really are. Like listening to it, like I kind of felt like first time hearing it, like as a kid, it was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of funny. Now I listen to it, I'm like, I don't know. But there's other good stuff in there. Slaughter is a great one. Shedding Skin. Use My Third Arm. Thoroughs and
That's
Rejection. I love.
rock metal for you.
Yeah, Thoroughs and Rejection. I always love that like little like drum fill that filled to there.
Yeah.
Like just like it just I don't know. It just sounds so perfect. And I even like their cover of Planet Caravan. I thought that was a pretty good
Yes.
cover. So yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2, we're gonna go a little bit backwards here. I'm gonna put power metal at number 2.
Wow.
I know a lot of people probably, aren't gonna put that one, but I just think that's just a real killer album. Like, a couple of you were saying before, it's very much a, excuse me, a speed metal album. It's definitely not as glammy or cock rock as like the other albums, though there's still some elements of that there, like the song Proud to Be Loud. But yeah, I like the opening track, Rock the World. I love the title track, Power Metal. I just think that's such a killer. I think like Dime here, it seems like like his guitar tone, I think really kind of sounds like very similar what it would be on the next couple albums, even though maybe some of the songwriting and some of the riffing is different. Death Trap's a good one, Burn's a good one. Um, Down Below's pretty good. We'll Meet Again, another killer track. There's really just start to finish. I think it's a pretty solid album. Um, but I know other people might not rank it as high as I do, but this is my ranking. There you go.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck them. They don't like it. They can whine about it in the comments if they don't like
They
it.
can lick
That's
your
right.
sack.
There you go. They can lick my sack.
Yeah.
We'll get 70 comments from the one guy with the fucking Chinese characters as a fucking. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, his name.
Holy Christ.
Oh boy. But yeah, number 1 for me has got to be Cowboys from Hell. The title track, just like that, the way it opening is just such a cool riff. Yeah. Primal Concrete Sledge, that one is like, okay, they're doing something different. Like Cowboys from Hell, like, yeah, it's something a little bit different than what they were doing before. But when you hear like the second track, like if you're listening to these albums in order, it's like that one's like, it's like, okay, these guys are onto something different. Um, Cemetery Gates, that song is just one of the most epic metal songs of all time.
One of the
I
first
really,
songs of the album, I believe. It's where they played it live back in '89. So I believe it's one of the first ones.
yeah, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that, but yeah, just a lot of just epic songwriting, epic, soloing. And I like that Phil on here. He's still doing that like high pitch like he was doing on the previous album, even though he's not doing as much. I like when he hits those kind of high notes and yeah, like I think was it Ralph or Tony. Someone was saying before, it'd be interesting to see if he could still hit those high notes if he wanted to.
No, he can't.
I believe he can. He said that it was it last year or the year before. He can still do it if he wants to.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I
That's cool.
highly doubt that.
But yeah, another one I like. And I like the song "Shattered" because that one's just like it's very,
Yeah, that's a
very
goodie.
Yeah, good too.
Shattered. Domination's a cool song. I like the last track too, "The Art of Shredding." I think
Yeah, that's a good one.
that one's got a killer solo. I like "The Sleep." That one's pretty good. I really, there's not really any bad moments on this album. I
Nope.
just think start to finish. It's
It's
really
the best debut.
yeah, their debut. But
Right.
It's the best debut.
yeah, for me, that's going to be my number one.
I think
All
the
right,
back
Christian, good shit.
I think the back cover of Covers from Hell is probably the coolest Phil Del Silva picture I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, that's the one where it's like that.
He's got his hair in braids.
Yeah, it's like kind of like going over his head or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So the
was
funny
doing
thing is, yeah,
the braids before he started shaving his head. He started doing the braids and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna drag out the CDs that I had for the ranking, but I only had Vulgar, Far Beyond Driven, and Trendkill. I don't know what happened to my copy for Cowboys from Hell. I think I probably let someone borrow it at one time and never got it back. But
I think you got to come to
Get the
Disc and that
deluxe
and get a new
edition.
one.
Yeah,
what's
buy
that?
the deluxe. Can you still get that, James? The deluxe edition?
That's way out of print. Yeah, that's been out of print for a long time. I think Christian needs to come to Disc and Dat and get a new copy of Cowboys from Hell on CD.
Maybe I
Mhm.
will. Maybe I
Maybe
will.
you should. Maybe you should.
Maybe. All
All
right.
right, Christian. Thank you for your top five. You can bounce if you got to. We appreciate
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
coming and
bounce.
hanging
Sorry, I
out
can't
with
stick.
Rank and
Yeah.
File.
Sorry, I can't stick around tonight, guys. But I
It's
will.
all good.
I'll watch the rest of this once it gets
He's not
posted.
a loser on Friday night. He's got plans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Christian's going to get laid, and we're stuck here looking at each other.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We are stuck with the
Cheers, Christian.
cock
All
blocking
right.
blues.
Yeah. Cheers, fellas. Good night.
Later.
Later.
Count Ralphus.
All right,
5-1.
where he just said his number one, that'll be my number five. All right, so 1990, this album, this band appears on Headbangers Ball, and they play the fuck out of them. They are on every week. I don't know how many videos they had from the album, but they just got played like crazy, and they become this band that just blows up. They're like the new kings of like kind of like heavier stuff. But to me, I mean, I since like '85, I was listening to Slayer and Metallica and Merciful Fate and Venom and all this stuff and Sodom, and then in '87, I'm listening to Death. So now I'm already 3 years of being nonstop into death metal and grindcore and beginnings of that and stuff. So come
Yep.
1990, this sounds like commercial as hell to me. So I hear it and it's interesting. It's got this new kind of groove sound thing that's going on, and I don't hate it, but I just don't. I just kind of ignore it, and all my friends do. None of we actually kind of make fun of them only because they become so big, and it's like, who the fuck's this band? And we like Exhorder, so it's funny they Tony bring up Exhorder. I had the Law and Slaughter in the Vatican, and
Yeah.
then here's a band that sort of has that sound, but they're not nearly as heavy. I think they get more like Exhorder on the next album and stuff. But so yeah, this album
Totally.
comes out, and I never buy it at the time or nothing like that. And it's not till years later that I really appreciate it. Like I could appreciate Daryl right away in hearing that this guy's definitely a great guitar player, but that didn't really matter to me back then. Years later, when I listened to it for the first time in its entirety, I was surprised like how many like high vocals he was even doing then. Like Phil has like an amazing range. He doesn't
Mhm.
get credit enough for the range that he has. But for me, I like it when it gets a little heavier and stuff. And so, the next album, oh, and that album cover, I couldn't stand. Again, they just have not but shit album covers. So this album cover, they're like, hey, I got an idea. We'll make believe we're in a bar, and he could stand like this, and then we'll have Phil jumping in the air. It's so fucking retarded and lame. But all their album covers at this point are so bad. But then they come up with this awesome album cover. It's the only interesting album cover. Like I think Great Southern Trend Kill looks cool, but it's just a picture of a rattlesnake. But I think this is one album cover where they did something unique, having the guy getting punched in the face. That was cool. And that's the first one that I like when that comes out, I'm like, okay, now these guys are sounding like more like a thrash metal band, but they're still not nearly as heavy as the stuff I'm listening to. But I like that this band is still getting bigger and bigger, and they're flying the flag for metal at a time where, you know, um, grunge is coming in and it's getting bigger and bigger. And, the whole like everybody's saying metal's dying, so but there's this one band out there that's very successful and flying the flag for metal. And I see a couple interviews of like Phil Drunk and being like, yeah, we're a metal band. Like at the time Metallica was saying shit like, yeah, we don't like we're not a metal band. Or they weren't saying they were not a metal band, but they just were like kind of distancing themselves. Where Pantera was like one of the few bands that was like proud to still be called metal. So I like that about them. But it wasn't really until like these VHSs were coming out. This is like the
Oh yeah, home videos.
all three of them on one. But this is where I become a fan of them because I just found these hilarious, and I was like, these guys are cool. They're fucking partying. All of a sudden, it like kind of clicked to me more. So I'm not going like really into the song, but yeah, my next one is in order was you know, was Vulgar Display, and then
Yeah.
I kind of I got a little bit different than a lot of people. I got Reinventing the Steel next, and I know a lot of
Cool.
people like you guys had good points of like, yeah, it's kind of going away from their signature groove sound, but they do kind of
Hmm.
two albums in a row that are very similar. So this and Great Southern Trendkill, I thought were more like they weren't just following the formula, and they were getting more underground sounding and heavier to me. And with the screaming and stuff, yeah, he's not showing the range, but he's doing more of what I kind of like. It's more of an underground thing. So I really liked Reinventing the Steel, and I thought it was really cool. Again, a weird fucking album cover though, and I don't know, like the guy looks familiar that's jumping through the fire. At one point, Phil later on he joins the band Necrophagia for a while. He plays guitar for him, and they had a guy in Necrophagia that looks like the guy jumping through the fire, but I never like bothered to like try to figure it out if it was him. Maybe it was like a big party and someone just caught that picture of them all drunk jumping through the fire, but it probably would have been better if it was like Dimebag with a guitar jumping through the fire or something. But so that's
Hmm.
just some
Hmm.
random fucking buddy of theirs, whatever. But
Yeah.
then so yeah, far um Great Southern Trunkill is my number two. And again, the same thing with the Reinventing the Steel. I just like that they're going a little bit more underground and not trying to be as mainstream, and they don't need to be. They're like the kings of of kind of extreme metal. Not that we consider it really extreme today, but it was sort of extreme. It was heavier than anything else they were really playing like that crazy on MTV. And yeah, then Vulgar Display of Power. It's kind of like their peak. Where I mean, Far Beyond Driven is the peak where.
Hmm.
Like that's when they were at like their biggest, and I think that album had the biggest impact. But I really do like the Reinventing the Steel and Great Southern Trendkill because they were getting more underground, and I really liked Super Joint Ritual when they came out with Super Joint. Well, when Phil was doing Super Joint, I kind of was liking that more than Pantera at the time because this was like really underground, way more in my like wheelhouse or whatever. And I thought it was way more like what I liked compared to what Dimebag and his brother ended up doing with like um Damage Plan and
Damage
stuff.
plan.
So it's like yeah, that was Phil was going more and more underground, and even like projects like Scour and stuff like that. Like that's my world more. So um not that the Great Southern Trend killing that was like that extreme, but it definitely wasn't as mainstream, and I really like them albums. And yeah, so that's my whole ranking there.
So your number one is
Nice.
Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah, but it was close
Oh,
between that and Great Southern Tranquil and Reinventing the Steel. Like that's where I just kind of was like going back and forth a little bit. But I was like, I kind of have to go with Far Beyond Driven because it was such a staple, such an important album. I think it was their peak as far as like everything. Like they brought so many metal kids into metal, and I remember like arguing with friends of mine that were like they were not being like gate creeping or nothing like that, but it was like they had a thing against this band because they were getting so popular. And I got to the point where I'm like, look at these guys like they were on like an Ozfest and they were like talking about how proud to be metal they were. I'm like, no other bands are doing that. I'm like, this band's important for metal. I said, if kids are finding Pantera, they're gonna find Slayer. They're gonna find if they like find Slayer, then they find death, and they, it's like that line, So and it was years later, it was the same thing with Slipknot. Slipknot becomes this huge band, and everybody's complaining about it, like, who the fuck are these guys come out of nowhere and they're going platinum albums and stuff. But I was like, yo, fucking bring it on, man. These kids are gonna find this, and then they're gonna go back and find Slayer, blah blah blah. It's like now I can't remember who's the last band that came along that has done that for metal, where you
Lamb of
know
God.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
Lamb of God to me was the band that filled Pantera's shoes when Pantera
True.
disappeared. Like they were, and they didn't really fill them. They were kind of like a substitute. They never got to their levels, but they were definitely the band that kind of stepped in there for that sort of groove metal sound. But I can't
Yeah.
think of I mean, there's probably some I'm just not thinking about, but there's not many where it's like this band will be a gateway band to like everything in the underground. So bands like Pantera and Slipknot, whether you like them or not, they're super important to the survival of
Great.
underground extreme.
Yeah,
I,
that
I
I
believe
agree with you,
Far
Ralph.
Beyond Driven was the first extreme metal album to go #1.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I
that's
agree.
important.
I agree with you, Ralph, because I can't recall a band that has kind of created a new style and created so much stir as Slipknot did after Slipknot. I can't recall a band that has done that after.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Well,
I mean, it
corn.
seems like nowadays
You had
nobody,
corn
no,
in between. You know.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time, but and I don't know if Corn really bring in extreme metalheads more as much, but the thing is
Right.
nobody,
They changed the style.
nobody's really going platinum today. Like no, even like I mean, you got your Taylor Swifts that are struggling going platinum right now at the moment it seems, but it's like nobody. It's just like a different world, and there's no like avenues to promote this stuff to make it the big next trend. Like I don't see how if you're listening to Sirius Radio, like you're gonna get a next Slipknot kind of, like how's it take off? They don't got like the video. People ain't seeing videos and stuff, so it's just a whole different climate for metal right now.
True.
So we
True.
do need more bands like that to break through and get the young next generations into this shit, or else it
Yeah.
could disappear.
Yeah.
Very good, Count Ralphus. What do we got, Ovi? 5-1.
Yeah. My number 5 is gonna be Vulgar Display of Power. I really liked it when I was young. I listened to it a lot, but it's like Vulgar Display of Power is because Metallica came with Black Album, and then Pantera got pushed into making commercial sound and break through even more with Vulgar Display of Power. Because in my mind, there is no album of theirs that sounds like Vulgar Display of Power. It's quite different from anything else they've done, and it was kind of their Black Album in a way at the time because of the commercial success of Black Album. They wanted to ride that wave, which I understand. It's nothing wrong about it. It's just I liked it back then. Now for me, it's like I've heard those songs so many times, so it's like. But as for songs I really like, I like Snow Code, Attack of Radical People. The B side or the side B of that album is probably my favorite nowadays. And the
Yes.
Living a Hole.
Good song.
Yes, and my favorite one is probably still my favorite. That was back then is Rise.
Hell yeah, great song.
Yeah.
Little
Then
factoid about that song is the main riff in that da 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 da
yeah,
da. So Dimebag had heard the Helmet song unsung and kind of lifted that riff and made it his own thing. And Pantera and Helmet were playing a show together. So Dimebag goes and grabs Page Hamilton from Helmet and pulls him onto the tour bus, and he goes, "Dude, check this out. There's our new album. It's about to fucking come out. Here's this song that fucking I kind of lifted your riff." And he played that tune for Page from Helmet, and that dude got fucking pissed. He just kind of turned around and walked off the bus and didn't say anything to anybody. And then the next Helmet record is Betty, which is not a heavy record. They completely Helmet completely changed their sound and completely went in a totally different alternative-ish direction. They were never
Killed
as heavy as
themselves.
they were on Unsung ever again.
Yeah. My number 4 is gonna be Tony. You gotta hold up the pink one from 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Eye in
That
the night.
album for me, that album for me, I think it's so good. It's so much. It's the biggest leap from Projects in the Jungle. The biggest problem with that album is that you're starting to notice that Terrence is holding them back. Terrence isn't evolving with the rest. He's kind of holding them back because there's a lot of songs because it came out in 85, right? And there's not an album until 88 with power metal. So there's a lot of the songs that are on power metal that was written like back in 86. But Phil Anselmo changed the lyrics from Terrence's awful lyrics to more cool lyrics. So there's a big gap there. There should probably been a couple of albums in there, but Terrence hold them back. So, but not enough about that. The album in itself, I feel it has the most variety of the 80s album. It has the most creative output of the old 80s albums. I really like the title track. I like Down Below, which was re-recorded again for power metal. And I like Forever Nights. I think of the music wise, it just has that harmonics on the guitar and it has such an atmosphere and the guitar solo at the end is like this from Project of the Jungles had a killer solo, and this one here has an even better solo at the end. So it's like they know how to finish albums. Pantera knows how to leave people thirsty at the end. My number 3 is gonna be the one that we just talked about, and I got the big baby of the Cowboys from Hell. I got it
Nice.
still,
Nice.
I got it still wrapped. This is worth a lot of money. It got
What's in
it got
that?
You got 3 CDs and booklets and a lot of like flyers and reproduction of everything they did back then, like promotion buys and stuff.
Yeah, there's a
And
T-shirt in there too.
yeah, so this baby is worth a lot of money. It's really cool because you can take off the head like and stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
and
Killer.
that album, I mean, it's such a good album. I like Clash of Reality. I think Clash of Reality is such a good song. I believe it's track number 8, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
And my second favorite is like the Message in Blood. The Message in Blood is such a good track. But
Hell
my
yeah.
favorite one was mentioned earlier is the Art of Shredding. The Art of Shredding has such cool guitar work, and it kind of separates itself from the rest of the album. We lost Ralphus. But yeah, the Art of Shredding.
He'll be
I
back.
mean, it's so good. It's like I said, they know how to end albums. And Art of
Yes.
Shredding
Hmm.
it's so great. I like the Sleep too, and I like the part when Dimebag in Sleep or is it Cemetery where he just winds the guitar and Phil sings higher. He winds higher on the guitar, feels even higher, and they have that duel, and then at the end he just goes through the roof. It's just yeah. I can't believe what happened from 88 to 90. I just
Yeah.
don't get it. It's the same people.
Yeah.
I've never experienced a band that has changed so much in such a short time. It's wild. My number 2 is gonna be the one that you don't guys have, but it's gonna be I don't know if we're gonna get demonetized.
Aha. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
censored cover. Yeah.
yeah, because this is far beyond driven. I don't know what stripper this is, but her ass is fine.
That's actually Dimebag's asshole.
No, is it?
Yes. That's
Wow.
Dimebag's asshole.
Wow. Well,
Yep.
then he had a great ass then because he could fool me. There's not a, it's not a hair on it, so that's kind of weird. Um,
Pimples.
the songs I really like best is Thrones of Rejection. I mean Thrones of Direction is so good. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a masterpiece, and this album was thrown together like in a week or 10 days. It's
Right.
not really produced very well. It's just thrown together and then out on tour again. So it's really cool. My favorite song, probably of them, a harder one, is going to be Hard Lines and Sunken Cheeks.
Good
That's
song.
just it's such a heavy song. I think it's probably most of the heaviest songs they ever did. But my number one is going to be the cover of Planet Caravan because it's kind of an important song to me because it introduced me to Black Sabbath. I've talked about this a few times before, but hasn't it been for that song, I wouldn't have heard of Black Sabbath in a long, long time. But that song
Oh
made me
wow.
hear of Black Sabbath. So it's a very important song to me. Which
Hell yeah.
leaves my number one is going to be The Great Southern Trendkill. I mean, when that song came out and you heard Seth Pullman from Anal Cunt just growl in the beginning, I mean, it's like, I thought it wasn't possible to get more heavy than Far Beyond Driven. And then that song come out, and I was like, wow, this
Doubt.
is really, yeah, it's so heavy. That album is so heavy and it's so good. I mean, it's like so depressed. It's so like everything is like because of floods, it rains, it's everything is there's no good outlook in life, and it's like it's a war, and it's like internal mental problems, and it's basically just 10 or 11 ways of how shitty life is. And that's kind
Yes.
of cool when you're like 15. It's like people that fucking understands you, because when you're like 15, 16, it's like you're too old for being with other people, and you're too young to be with other people again. You're like stuck in a hell in between there when you strive to be recognized by those that are older than you, and you can't stand those fucking kids that are younger than you. It's a shitty time to be alive. So that came as ordered. That's the doctor's orders. It's Great Southern Trendkill. I like Living Through Hell's Wrath. Such a killer tune.
Such a
I like,
thrashy song. I love that.
yeah. And then Tens,
Tens is great. Yeah, great ballad.
yeah. But I got to give it to, it's been mentioned a few times, Floods
Of
is the
course.
best solo that he ever did. I mean, this the Flood solo is so good, and the rain, and it's like it's such a monstrous track. So Floods for me is the Pantera. So I'm kind of like Ralph. We are at the top. We are kind of the same.
No doubt. All right. Good ranking, Ovi.
Thank you.
Tony Dio, 5
Okay.
to 1.
Okay.
The
Number
one
five for me
five.
is going to be Far Beyond Driven. And God, yeah, this was great. I remember when it came out, everybody had it. Everybody had it in their car. Anybody I hung out with pretty much had this record, was blasting it. But I mean, strength beyond strength is just amazing. Becoming 5 minutes alone is one of the best riffs Daryl ever came up with, for sure. Some good stuff on this super, super heavy record. Um, I saw him a couple of times on this tour. I saw him when they were first, like, really big tour they did when they were headlining like an amphitheater.
All
And
right.
I think it was Sepultura and Prong on the bill.
Oh,
And
nice.
Sepultura actually didn't play that night because somebody was sick or something or got hurting. But when they did Planet Caravan, they were sitting out there passing a joint. Max is sitting out there on the drum riser with them. And they're passing a joint around and stuff. But
Nice.
and then I saw him like with Typo Negative during that period as well.
On
Uh,
95,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, I'll show this while I'm on the subject of this. This is a box set that is called this was a little I think I got this at Best Buy or something. It was called Driven Down Under. It's a 94
Yeah.
Australian collector's box,
Yep.
and it has the version of Far Beyond Driven that you just showed, Ovi,
Yep.
with the Poison Idea cover as a bonus track on it, the
Yep.
badge,
Oh, that's such a
and
good
it,
song. Oh,
and it has the Walk EP,
and
where they've
fucking
gone back
hostile.
and made some remixes and stuff of the
Yeah.
album, some songs like the industrial remixes of some songs, and it has
Yeah.
the Alive and Hostile EP, which was one of the bonus discs in the deluxe edition of Cowboys from Hell. But yeah, that was a cool little piece there that I got during that period. But I don't know if you saw that, James. It was the Driven Down Under little box set. Driven
Oh
Down Under.
yeah, I've seen that.
And
Shoot, I got that Longhouse singles 90 to 96. That Longhouse, like the singles. I got that box set and saw that one single of Walk is in it.
on that tour at the amphitheater, I went back and met him. That was the pass that I had from it. That is a photo. That's inside of that's the inside of a bootleg CD. I'll show you in a minute. But I didn't get Dime's signature. He actually was there and he turned around and walked off. But I got Rex and Vinny and Phil actually signed the other side because it's a picture of Phil. These guitar picks I got when I first saw him the first time in a club in 1990. So that's actually a diamond. You can't really see it. It's get too much glare on it, but it's a Diamond Daryl pick, and it just says Rex, and the other just says Diamond Daryl.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's worth a lot of money. Holy cow!
So next up, I'm gonna go Vulgar Display of Power, and if Cowboys from Hell is a game changer album, we set the pace with this album. We set the pace for the future with this album because this is as much as I don't like new metal, it was very influenced from this album. You mentioned something, Ovi, about them making a commercial record because of the Black Album. What I saw an interview the other day with Rex where he actually said that they liked the Black Album when it came out, but they were like, Metallica's kind of selling out with us. They were working on this album, and they said, let's make this even heavier than Cowboys. So they wanted to make a heavier record than the Black Album. And when, later when Load and Reload started coming, I remember Phil in the press was talking shit about Metallica selling. I remember going to see him, and Phil was on stage talking about Metallica selling out and all this shit, and so yeah, he was very vocal about it. But yeah, this album's just great. I mean, it's not a bad track on it. And this is another one that I just played to death. When it was, and those home videos that Ralph mentioned a while ago, God knows, man, I wore those things out where he just back and forth rewinded them.
I got the VHSs too, all full.
My VHSs were completely trashed. I got that DVD where I wish it was chaptered because it's just 3 separate chapters. The version I've got, you can't go, you have to fast forward through stuff if you're trying to find a certain part.
Yeah.
But God, man, what stories you got from there? The whole Ingve and the donuts and so much classic stuff in there. I had some friends that I worked with a band called Drill 187, and their singer took all their home videos that he made over 6-8 year period, and he made a home video after the band broke up, and he released it. And he just copied the Pantera videos. He does all the repeats over and over, like the coffee pot. And I told him, I said, dude, this is cool, but it looks too much like the Pantera videos. But it's funny because he took the best footage that he could put of the band being silly, and yeah, it's so cool.
My favorite part is Kirk Weinstein plays the Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he trashes everything.
I love the
paper shoe that goes that he squeezes through, like with a paper shoe, to do like the Hulk. It's so great.
But my favorite is them making the little commercials like Death Smokes and Maypop tires, and
yeah.
You could smoke a pussy cigarette.
May pop.
Yeah, I mean that's some funny ass shit,
in the shower,
man.
Licking a dildo and stuff.
Yeah, making the pot leaf out of paper mache.
Yes.
Yeah.
So nutty. So from there, number 3 for me is going to be Cowboys from Hell. This is a game changer record. Like I told the story earlier, hearing this the first time, it just blew my mind. I was so happy these guys got signed to a major label and was happy to watch them just take on the world over the next few years. I saw them in a club on this tour.
Nice.
Yeah. it was not when I got all my dates down here. I saw him October 22nd, 1990 in a club, and it was a weeknight, and there was probably less than 200 people there. And
Damn.
I kept jumping up on the side of the stage on Dime's side, and I would shout out all these old song titles. And he's like, and when the set was over, he walked over and he gave me that pick, and he says, "Man, that's cool, you know that shit, but we don't play none of that shit anymore. We're trying to get away from all of that, you know." And it's funny because I saw him again on that tour. They were touring with Wrathchild America, and they played another just a concert hall, but it's not like a huge place. And by then they had caught on, and they were Wrathchild was headlining, but there was probably more people there to see Pantera than Wrathchild that night. I hate to say it, but because Wrathchild ruled in this area, and but yeah, I remember Dime was walking around, and I just walked up and talked to him again and stuff. But I never brought anything. I never brought my Projects in the Jungle record or nothing to get autographed. I just didn't. I don't know why. It wasn't on my mind at the time. But you think these guys are gonna just be around forever or whatever, you know? And you just don't think about stuff like that.
Of course.
But yeah, that record, man, just blew my mind. I've got it on vinyl too, the 2 LP set that came out through I think it's Atco Rhino or whatever came out. Really cool. And but yeah, that record, Cowboys, I mean, the art of shredding, you brought it up. Like, God, what a way to end an album. When I went to that club show, I bought a shirt and it had this demon head and it says Pantera, and the back had the Cowboys from Hell, you know, the KFH, the CFH, that is, can't spell. And it had the art of shredding. That's what was written across the back. That was the tour shirt for that 1990 tour to start off with. I kept that thing for years, and finally I eBayed it probably about a decade ago, and I got a lot of money for it when I did.
Nice.
It was because it was really before they broke big, you know. Kind of more like when you go see a local band, you buy a local band shirt. That's what it kind of looked like. It wasn't no tour dates or anything on it like that.
Yeah.
But number two for me has got to be Projects in the Jungle, just because this is my first one, and I never got tired of this record. I mean, there's some cheesy elements on it, but it's my favorite of the Terry Glaze records. It's a lot of, Pyromania had came out the like a couple years before, and it just has a big Def Leppard Pyromania sound. They brought in some keyboards and stuff, and it's got that real polished sound. He sounds like Joe Elliott. But there's a lot of Judas Priest and Van Halen influence in it, in the songs as well. And then you've got stuff like Out for Blood and Projects in the Jungle. They're like total, like, double bass type songs, speed metal, but like borderline speed metal songs, and Killers as well. So they knew Metallica. They had heard Metallica, and you see pictures of Metallica hanging out with them back in the days when you see their hairs more all teased up and all when they're hanging out with the Pantera guys and stuff. I think those guys were known as party hounds. When you played their area, you hooked up with them and you went back to their place and jammed and partied. They were kind of known for that. But yeah, Taking My Life. A couple people mentioned that. What a great song. That's the best song Def Leppard never did when they were before they really totally sold out. And that solo that Don plays is brilliant for his age.
Yes, sir.
Such a good player. So number one for me is going to be the shirt I'm wearing is the Power Metal album. It's actually Projects has been my favorite for years, and it kind of goes back and forth between, this album. Like I said, this is a bootleg copy. The Projects record I just showed, that's the original, but this is an original Power Metal cassette that I bought when it was new, and I was happy to find that one I did, because that was the second thing I had ever found by them, and I just like, wow, this is great. They changed singers, they sound different, they're getting heavier. And yeah, it's a solid record. I'd love to find an original copy of this. This seems to be the hardest and the most expensive one to find out of all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's really like
there was
very
that
limited.
you mentioned that Ovi, about the period there in 3 years, how they between Terry Glaze leaving and them getting Phil and coming out with this album.
Yep.
They
Yep.
had several singers before Phil, one of which
Yeah,
was
they
a guy
did.
named Is there you guys live up? I mean, you're on the East Coast, Count and James. Have you ever seen the Led Zeppelin band Zoso?
No.
That I know they tour up that way. Matt Jernigan is the lead singer. He's been Robert Plant in that band for 25 years. Matt was in Pantera. Matt was
Oh shit.
he was known as like Matt Lamore, I think was his stage name, but he was the singer
Oh,
they
I've
had
heard that
right
name.
before Phil. And there's pictures of him with them back in that period. But yeah, you could see the band had toned down the image. They were going more tough looking. I mean, Vinny's a little,
Mhm.
he's still got his hair all spooged up a little bit. Phil, well, if you ever see when Phil first joined the band, he was the most glammy looking guy in the band when he first
He
joined. He
was.
Yep,
had the
yep,
frosted hair and the hairspray and all, but
Yeah.
he's kind of got more of the street look going on here. I mean, that, more of a punky look, I guess, with the hair on one side or whatever. But yeah,
yep.
they were definitely trying to move into the more heavy territory, and I think Phil helped with that. I mean, he was highly influenced by, he knew those guys in Ex Hoarder and stuff, and I think that's the route he really wanted to push them in. But man, does he sound great on this. I mean, it's so much Halford influence on this record. And the song, I mean, I think this is a great record. The outlier song on the record, the song that does not fit on this record at all is Proud to Be Loud, and that's because they didn't write it. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound right. It's kind of a silly song for them. Keel has recorded it, and Keel's version sounds like Keel, but I think they were working with Mark Ferrari, and they thought, okay, this guy's going to help us get a record deal, and that's why they did the song. And
Mhm.
but it does not fit on this album. It's probably my least favorite song on the record. Usually, if I'm listening to the CD, I'll skip it. But uh, but yeah, it's got some good stuff on. I love Death Trap. I love Hard Ride. I mean, that's a very commercial sounding song. But I think this record needs to be officially released, and I
Yep.
think Phil needs to get off. He and Rita need to talk about it. They need to officially put this out because when we're talking about Cowboys from Hell, the deluxe edition of Cowboys from Hell has the Cowboys from Hell demos, this is the vinyl for
Yep.
that. And
Oh,
if you
nice.
listen to these demos, which were done at Pantego Sound, their father's studio, they sound like this record. So it's not much different. When Terry Date came in and definitely modernized their sound, made them heavier. But this record is very much in line with Cowboys from Hell, I think. I mean, it's some commercial tracks on it, but it's not a glam record. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and I think they really should release it. There's fans out there would love to hear all of that stuff, but I don't think they'll ever put the Terry Glaze stuff out. But it's kind of like when after Randy Rhoads passed, they started putting those Quiet Riot records out, and they're really not that good of records, but they're out, and the fans bought them. So I'm sure the fans would buy this if they put it out officially. Maybe even did some sort of deluxe edition with some demos or something with it, or it definitely needs to happen, for sure.
Imagine if
But
Dimebag had said yes to join Megadeth in '89, because he was offered to join Megadeth, but
he
he
wanted to
didn't want
take
to
Vinny.
join without his brother, and
Yeah,
Damon Stein already had Nick Mensa, so if he would have done that step, we would never had Pantera, and we would have a completely different Megadeth.
yeah,
That's
he was
true.
asked to join. He was also asked by Annihilator, I think, to join at one point too. But yeah, it's a good thing he didn't, because it would have definitely changed history for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be my top album. I got a few cool things I'll show you here just
There's a
after
whole
James
story.
shows his.
There's a whole story about Dave Mustaine talking about how they come up with the Pantera name, because I think it's Daryl and his brother. They kind of hung around Metallica in the early days and kind of like looked up to them, and I think there was something about how they, because they want to be called Panther, but then you have to do it in a Spanish way. I think Dave Mustaine said, or wrote someone else, do a Pantera.
There was already
So
a Panther. Yeah,
yeah, there was
yeah,
something there.
I
yeah.
think they should have
I'm
changed the name when they got signed to the bigger label. They should have, and they 'cause the style was changing. I think then they would never had this problem with, oh, we can't release the old stuff or whatever. It would have been a new start. It wasn't like they had such a legacy built up to that point with that old name. And I think the name kind of sucks. I don't think there's anything special
well,
about the name Pantera.
they had a pretty large following already when they were signed because I mean they toured all over Texas. You know how big
Yeah.
Texas is. They had I mean even as far like down in Louisiana, I mean they had a huge following because they had been playing the clubs for years, playing originals and covers. So
That's
they
right.
do a half originals, half covers, and they were doing it for years.
Yeah, but that's
So
club
people,
circuit band. That's a club circuit band. They weren't getting their videos played or nothing like that. If they had a video on Headbangers Ball or something like that, that would have been different. But they were still relatively unknown,
speaking of which, have
nationally.
you ever you guys we were talking about the old videos? They've got the videos for like Hot and Heavy. There's an original video for Cowboys from Hell because they did the demo of that years before and they made a video for it. It's on YouTube, an old video of them. I've got a poster. You can't see it. I've got tons of posters on the ceiling in this room. I've got a poster from the power metal period, and it's the old Pantera logo with the band, and it says Cowboys from Hell at the bottom. And
Oh,
it's
that's
like
awesome.
came out like 88 or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I went to
On
some
the
dude's house once and probably like 1995 or something. He had it on the wall. And I said, "Hey dude, I want that poster." And I think I gave him like $5 for it or something, or bootleg
Nice.
video or something for it. Yeah.
on that vinyl LP you have is the Will to Survive on that one LP.
Mm-hmm.
Because
They added it on the demos. Yeah.
because that song, that the Will to Survive, that's the bridge between Cowboys and power metal, if you ask me.
Yeah, that was the extra track that they added to it for sure. Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
What you got, James?
All right. So my 5-1, number 5 for me is going to be Cowboys. And it's
Mm-hmm.
only because I reach for it a little less than the other albums. Again, I don't think any of these albums stink. I don't think any of them lack. They're all fucking fantastic. And they all mean a lot to me. I'm a big Pantera fan. I love every second of music on this. Title
Mm-hmm.
track, everybody knows and loves. Cemetery Gates, everybody knows and loves. And when Ovi was talking about before with the back and forth with the lead and Phil Scream, and then the higher lead and Phil Scream,
Mm-hmm.
so much Led Zeppelin influence in there with that. That's a big Led Zeppelin thing that they did back in
Mm-hmm.
the day. I love that. Um, Domination's good. Such a great breakdown at the end of Domination. So easy too. It's just
Mm-hmm.
chugging on the open A, but goddamn, what a great breakdown,
I
man!
love the speaker. I love how they do the quad or whatever in the speakers where it goes back and forth. Bum,
And
bum, 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 bum. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember a friend of mine had like only one speaker in his car. When you used to listen to that, it was just sounded weird because you hear
That's
bum, bum,
yeah,
bum,
hysterical.
bum. Kind of like when you listen to Van Halen in there, you just heard bass and drums and no lead.
right, yeah, yeah. Listening to Master of Reality with one speaker is fucking weird like that too. Yeah, Art of Shredding, so good, so goddamn good. I loved we're talking about the home videos. The Cowboys home video where they do Art of Shredding live is
Mm-hmm.
so brutal, so good.
Yeah, that was at Foundations Forum, I believe, in 1990 because
Yeah.
Yeah,
that that audio has been released several times.
right. And it's great footage, man. That was a great show. Yeah, killer album. That's my number 5. Number Johnny 5.
You gotta remember though, they released that album in '91. They are in Moscow with Metallica in front of a
Yes,
million people.
yes.
How crazy is that?
It
And that's what's
was.
cool. If you have this 3 vulgar videos from hell, at the very end of it, there is the live in Moscow set at the end of
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. It's just
I
so
love that. I love that when they go into tent and it goes, "That's our pole," and
yeah.
that's something.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
touch that. That's kind of important. No, that's kind of valuable.
that's
yeah.
that's our vodka.
What a weird billing that was. What was it? Pantera, Metallica, and they had
Metallica.
Black Crows. It was just
Yeah.
like it was very odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So AC/DC as a headliner, I guess.
Ozzy and Bon Jovi weren't they on there? And Skid Row,
No,
I thought maybe.
that was
Or that was a different.
Moscow Music Peace Festival. That was
Yeah,
a
Oh,
that's
different
way
concert.
before.
That was way
Okay.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's way before that. But yeah, just fucking great, man. It can't be stated how great these home videos were. I believe
5 minutes with just squeezing sits.
I was so good.
Yeah, man.
To me, this is the beginning of Jackass.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good
Honestly,
yeah,
call,
yeah.
man. Good call.
because
yeah,
not for
all the
nothing, everything
fireworks.
Jackass did was on
Yeah,
this.
right, Rob.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks, fucking shooting at each other and stuff.
Watch it
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Lamb
yeah.
of God's
What's the
home video wasn't really similar, but the fact that they had them fist fighting each other in the video, I
Love
thought that
that. That's
that
great.
definitely put them kind of on the map for me too. It was like
Oh yeah, that's
that they
right.
released it.
And you
That's
got
right.
Pantera
We
and
don't need no
Sebastian Bach
therapist.
from Skid
That's
Row and somebody else doing Kiss with Cold Gin.
Yes.
Sebastian Bach and people join them on the stage. That's
Yeah,
Skid
that was
Row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Vulgar tour when they in Fayetteville when they opened for Skid Row on the
Oh,
Vulgar
you
display
did?
tour.
Nice.
Yeah.
awesome.
Headbangers Ball was filming there that night. Ricky Rackman was there filming, and then it ended up airing later on. We were like looking
Okay.
for ourselves in the crowd, you know.
Oh, cool.
Boot to the cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of vulgar display of power, that's going to be my number 4.
Okay.
So this album's really important for me on a personal level because at the time when this came out and Pantera started to get big, a buddy of mine who lived next door to me found the radio station 89.5 WSOU. I wonder if Count Ralphus remembers that station.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but I pulled out a shirt one time. I went to the WSOU 10-year anniversary, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was like Overkill and Misfits and Biohazard. It was like a whole bunch of bands on the back of the shirt. It was so many bands. It was really awesome. But yeah, that was a legendary college radio station.
Hell yeah. So my buddy found that station one night and just put a blank cassette in the radio and just recorded as much as he could. And me and him are listening to the tape the next day. And one of the songs on there was This Love. And the other song right after it was Punishment from Biohazard. And both of those songs just punched me right in the balls. Like, whoa, I've never heard anything this heavy and groovy at the same time. Like, it just, I couldn't get the songs out of my head. I had to tape those 2 songs from my friend. So I had those 2 tracks until I had the money to be able to either get the Pantera or the Biohazard record. I got the Pantera album first, and then I think I weaseled the Biohazard CD away from Columbia House in an order where I gave somebody's fake fucking name or whatever, and I got the Biohazard album that way. But I had to have the Pantera album, had to have it. That This Love just hooked me, and this is where I really found them and fell in love with them, and also opened a lot of doors too. After Pantera, for me, the doors opened for death metal. So I started finding Cannibal Corpse and I started finding Morbid Angel and I started finding all that kind of stuff. I don't listen to as much death metal as I used to in my teens up to my early 30s. A lot of that stuff really kind of got stagnant for me. And also, a lot of the scene really turns me off with some of that stuff too. I find there to be a lot of elitism and a lot of, oh, you listen to this band? And it's like, yeah, I listen to that band, dude. Like, who gives a fuck? You don't have to. Like, anyways, that aside, Pantera opened a lot of doors for me, and this is the album that really started the avalanche with me getting into heavier shit that wasn't Alice in Chains and Guns N' Roses and Metallica at the Black Album and all that kind of stuff. It also opened the doors for like Slayer and Venom and Suicidal Tendencies. And as soon as I got into this, older dudes around me were like, "Oh, if you like that, check out this Suicidal record, check out this Venom record, check out this, Slayer stuff." So it really kind of opened a lot of fucking doors for me.
Pantera took Morbid Angel out on tour. They played the Civic Center here in
That's
Poughkeepsie.
I remember
With
that.
Soulfly, I think, was on the bill too at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to go to that, but I remember that tour coming around.
Like you said, man, they were championing, the only ones championing for metal back then.
Pretty
You know,
much.
in the mainstream, that is.
Yeah, all my favorite tracks on this have been talked about. I could never hear Walk Again and be fine with it. Um, Mostly because I was in a band that covered it after Dime was murdered. But also just I've heard it so many goddamn times. But if a live version of it ever comes on, I always leave that because I like to hear the live version. I like to hear the live guitar solo. Hollow is one of my favorite ballads of all time, and that brutal part at the end, the breakdown at the end of Hollow is just so good. Such great fucking moshing riffs there. Regular People Can See. Yeah, This Love is probably always going to be my favorite track on the album because that's the one that got me into them. And fucking Hostile, killer. Just a disgustingly good, fast, fuck you song. Fucking perfect.
Like I said, man, it was a total set the standard because everything, even established bands started going groove metal.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
Thrash
became a
band,
thing.
all the Testament, Overkill, everybody started doing the groove thing, And
Yeah,
the next thing you know, you got the new metal stuff coming in. So it was
right.
definitely just changed everything. Yeah,
No
That's
doubt.
exactly what I said on that Pet Peeves episode, though. It's like once a band becomes popular and successful, bands jump on the trend of trying to
that's
follow
true.
that. And
That's
that
true.
was one
That's
that I
true.
didn't include that one, but that was definitely everybody. They wanted the next Pantera out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
no doubt. Number 3 for me is going to be, we've already showed the regular cover. Here's the reissue of Reinventing the Steel.
Diamond plate version.
Diamond plated cover here, and it's a triple CD. So CD1 is a new mix of the album done by Terry Date, which I really like. I have no problem with the original, but the Terry Date mix is very good. It brightens some things up. The bass is a little more present in the mix, which of course your boy loves that because I play bass. And the drums are a little more clear too. Cymbals hit a little harder. I like the new mix. Um, CD2 is the original album remastered. And then you get a couple bonus tracks where it's like radio edits of Goddamn Electric and Revolution is My Name. CD2 is kind of like a throwaway, but then CD3 gives you Avoid the Light and Immortally Insane, which were
Yep.
both off of movie soundtracks. And then
Yep.
you get Cat Scratch Fever, and you get Hole in the Sky, and you get Electric Funeral, all great covers. And then you get instrumental versions of all the songs from the album. So you get the entire album without Phil on it. And it's actually really cool to listen to it like that. You get to really hear what's going on, what Dimebag's doing. There is a lot of experimental stuff. He's playing with different pedals and different effects and shit. But I love that stuff. So I'm a geek for, listening to different mixes and
And you can
demos.
sing along.
I was gonna say you could do karaoke version with it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Could do my best Phil Anselmo impression. I love Uplift on this is so good. It makes him disappear. The last 3 tracks, Uplift, It Makes Him Disappear, and I'll Cast a Shadow are so good. We'll grind that axe for a long time too. The last 4 tracks are fucking killer. I really love the lyrical direction on a lot of this album is just a big middle finger. Just talking about not taking anybody's shit and standing up for what you believe in, and keeping it rolling, keeping it moving. There's not a lot of like dark depression on this album as there was with the album before it. This is more of a
Yeah.
more of like a flex in your muscles and fuck you with this record, which is why I love it. Yesterday Don't Mean Shit is a fantastic song, and You've Got to Belong to It. Another great killer track on this one. Fantastic album.
Wasn't it around 2000, 2001 live? Phil has been to rehab and he has long hair and he wears
Yes.
those typical. But wasn't those shows a little plagued of Phil just doing bantering in between the songs and talking and talking and talking between the songs? I think he was
Yeah.
plagued by that tour. He had the rant that was going on all the time on that tour.
That's when he
Yeah.
was talking shit about Metallica and all that stuff too.
All
yeah.
right,
Yes.
right. That's
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
okay.
Number 2, Far Beyond Driven.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very important album. As we've talked about before, the first album this heavy ever to debut at number 1 on the Billboard charts. I mean, what can you say about Far Beyond Driven that hasn't already been said on this show? There's
But
not.
look at that Pantera logo, the Pantera logo there with the rusted and like the screws and stuff.
Yeah, I
It's
love
so
that.
cool.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing. There's not a bad second of music on this. My personal top favorite track on this is 25 Years.
Oh,
And
nice. Good.
great tune. And it's because I went through a lot of abuse in my house as a kid from my father. So the lyrics to this hit really fucking hard and hit a big home run for me, because that's basically all this song is about, is your old man being a piece of shit and beating you up every day. Use My Third Arm, great song. Good Friends in a Bottle of Pills. I don't know. Christian is so talking about how creepy it is. I find this to be one of the first lyrical um one of the first lyrical versions of cuckolding, if you will. It's basically talking about fucking another guy's girlfriend right in front of him, and it's fucking awesome. Becoming, great tune. I'm Broken. What a great tune I'm Broken is, man. Still to this day, it's, I mean, it got played out. It was on MTV a lot. It was on FM radio a lot, but that main riff is just so infectious. And it
Yeah.
actually came from a sound check. It was just a bullshit riff that Dimebag was messing with at a sound check, and everybody's like, yo, that's the new song. Keep that. Whatever you're doing with it, just keep it. And Planet Caravan is the one and only time where I will ever say I like a Black Sabbath cover better than the original, is with Planet Caravan. It's the one and only fucking time that I like a cover better than the original as far as Sabbath is concerned.
The music video is really cool with the animations, and you kind of space out. If you are on mescaline or something, you'll go to hell if you watch that video.
Oh yeah, I've watched that videos. I watched that video on mushrooms plenty of times.
Oh yeah,
Number 1, we've only got one left.
yeah. Good
and
boy.
It's the Great Southern
Good
Trend
man.
Hill. Got my copy autographed by Mr. Vinnie Paul. Very lucky to have met him a couple times. Actually, Count Ralphus has the book. I met him at that meet and greet for that book. The picture I took with Vinnie Paul at that meet and greet, if you buy the last Hell Yeah album, it's called Welcome Home, and you open up the cover, there's a picture of Vinnie Paul playing the drums, and it's a mosaic of a bunch of people with Vinnie Paul in a picture. My picture is in that fucking inside cover of me hanging out with Vinnie Paul. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, enough about me meeting fucking rock stars. Let's talk about the Great Southern Trend.
Smell the inlay on that CD.
What's that?
Smell the inlay on that CD.
Smells great. Smells like printed. Smells like printed media. It smells awesome.
Yeah, it has a certain smell to it. I can't recall what it. Tony knows what it's made of. It's just as it has a certain smell to it.
I
Really?
don't know, man. The maybe it's printed on hint paper in Norway.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's quite intoxicating, that smell. I've smelled that CD so many times. It's like,
It's rattlesnake piss. They dropped a drop of rattlesnake piss on each
That's
Ah,
it.
yeah,
CD
yeah.
there
for
you
the
go.
That's
first
But
it.
thousand.
it's a really rough paper, and it has a
That's it,
certain
man.
like smell to it.
I think you nailed it.
Do you
So
any guys
favorites
have
for
the
me.
Australian like tour version of that album?
No, what's on the Australian tour version?
You get some live tracks on CD too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look for that. 13 Steps to Nowhere.
Yes.
Ooh, killer drums. Killer drums from Vinnie Paul on that. Drag the Waters. That's the big single. Everybody loves that. It's funny that the first voice you hear on this album is from Count Ralphus's boy, fucking Seth Putnam. The
Yep.
very first vocal you hear on Great Southern Trendkill is Seth Putnam screaming at the beginning of that title track. Love it. Suicide Note Part 1 and 2. How good are those tracks? Oh my God. Great ballad that goes into almost a black metal thing with part 2. So good, man. So brutal and extreme. And yeah, Floods, man. That guitar solo in Floods still brings tears to my eyes to this day. Fantastic work. And
I
yeah,
like
Living
that
for
song.
Me, Hell's Wrath, so thrashy, so good.
Mhm.
Yeah. What most people don't like about this album is what I do like about it. I like that it's a little disconnected. I like that it's so dark. I like that it's so depressing. I like that it's disjointed. I like that Phil recorded in a different place than the band did because it makes this album sound the way it
They
sounds.
had to, or the album wouldn't be made.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
you
If
know,
it wasn't done this way, we wouldn't have got this. And that's why I fucking dig it so much. It's just really a great example of Pantera showing, hey, we did the groove thing. We could still do the groove thing, but we can also fucking ball with the fucking death metal guys too a little bit. You know,
yeah, I
so
was getting ready to say I've never thought of it that way until Count mentioned it a while ago about how different it is. But they set, like I said, they set a standard, and all these bands started copying them. And then they were
oh
like,
yeah.
"Hey, let's do something different. We've already set a blueprint here. Everybody's ripping us off. Let's do something different." And
Yeah,
it was a good call for them, you know.
Yeah, I
absolutely. Yeah.
thought my ranking was gonna be like the weirdest, just because I thought you guys were all like bigger fans. But me and James had the exact 5-1, except for a minute before we started doing this episode, I switched Great Southern Trend Kill with Far Beyond Driven. I don't know if you can see it there. I
Ah,
put the little arrows, but it's still
Yeah.
I still. But my 1 through 5 is the exact order that you had with exact. And I was kind of surprised
I
if I
well,
think
you
didn't
it's
know what
just
they
change it.
good.
say,
If I
Count.
didn't change it,
Everybody's had a good like mix up of stuff, though. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah.
Hey,
There's
you
an
know what they
interest
say, Count Ralphus? Great minds think alike.
there's a
when I
cool
heard
thing though.
what's his name was putting down reinventing steel and Great Southern Trendkill, he had them like way back,
Yeah,
Christian, and I was like, oh, I wonder if all these guys think like that. But then you end up having the exact same thing with me, pretty
no
much.
doubt.
Yeah.
The cool
Yeah.
thing though about the Life Proof 101 that came out in 97, you have two songs that were recorded in May of
Yes,
97, Where You Come From, I Can't Hide. And those songs are so good. I
yes, they
mean, they
are.
are so
Mhm.
good. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great
And those
album.
that they don't sound like anything else either. They are so different, but they are so good. So I, of course, had those two songs, and then Reinventing the Steel come after, and I didn't understand a thing because they are so different.
Yeah, definitely. I love Where You Come From. That is such a
Oh
good
yeah,
track. Oh, so catchy. Great
I Can Hide
slimy
is
riffs in that.
probably one of the fastest songs they have. I Can Hide it's really
Yeah,
fast.
that's a good one too. No doubt.
I
Yeah, I
don't have
love it.
many rare things, but I have this one Pantera Revolution is my name, radio edit and LP version. It was just like a single.
Oh
like for
wow.
Nice, cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
you
cool.
guys.
I
You
love
guys don't
shit
get
like
it.
that, man.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
It's
that's
just that
cool,
too.
man.
It's
I
the
love
same
shit like
song
that.
twice. And I think I have that 7 inch of where it's like they do the Poison Idea cover. Is that's a
Yeah,
seven
the
inch?
badge. The
Yeah, it
The
badge.
was like a
badge.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was like a yeah. I have that.
Yeah, that's on the Crow soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Hmm. The stuff I was going to show, of course, James, we talked about. You have these bootleg versions of the basic CDs.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
my Metal Magic's a weird one though. It's Metal Magic and I Am the Night. It's on a 2-on-1 CD.
Oh wow.
Actually, the first Panteras that I ever got from that period on CD, there was a bootleg company back in the late '80s, early '90s called Reborn Classics, and they would
Okay.
do two albums on one CD. But a lot of times you could tell they were taking off vinyl because you could hear them popping and stuff. But I had
Yeah.
I Am the Night. I had I Am the Night and Projects in the Jungle 2-on-1 CD. I bought it from Bleecker Bob's in New York City when I was there in like '94,
Oh
and
wow.
I think those things are really collectible. And when I ended up getting these, I think I sold it or traded it or something. But a few other things I was going to show here. I got this is pretty common. You see this pretty often now. Before they were Cowboys,
Oh
live
yeah.
album. This is a
Yep.
radio broad. This was a Z-Rock radio broadcast from they were still on the power metal era, but they're doing a few songs that ended up on Cowboys from Hell. They
Yep.
like they open with Death Trap, and I mean they do Rock the World live. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a good sounding show because it was a radio broadcast. And then I have this one called Showdown, and this is actually a show that was recorded in 1989, and
Hmm.
and it's right before they'd already recorded Cowboys from Hell, so you've got a good mix of songs from power metal and Cowboys from Hell on here, but it sounds really good for what it is. Um, I've got a few other bootlegs. This is one from the '94 tour called this one's called No Compromise, No Sellout. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
from
Nice.
that's
the
a good one.
Far Beyond Driven tour. And
Hmm.
these were like real silver press CDs that you used to buy.
Yeah.
I remember you go to record shows back in the '90s and get them. And here's one. Well, this is the one I showed you that autograph thing I had a while ago. That was the cover went in this CD. This was called Walk on the Wild Side, and this was basically that Foundations Forum show with some
Yeah.
extra tracks added to it. And then they did the same thing on this. This is called Vulgar Display of Power Metal. And what
Yeah.
it is you got the Foundation Forum tracks on it. It has the Rob Halford song, like the song that they did with Rob Halford for the Buffy the Vampire
Yeah.
soundtrack. Light Comes Out of Black is included on
Yeah.
here, and you get the whole Power Metal album included on it. And then they actually even put a I'm the Night demo track on it that's different than the album. So that was kind of cool to
Wow.
get.
Nice.
And then I have this one came out not too long ago. This is live. It's Savvy's Fort Worth, Texas, 1986, and that's a live show. And they're doing so it's stuff from the early records. It's with Terry Glaze, but they're doing their originals, but they do Back to the City by Keel. They do Shake Me by Cinderella. They do
Wow.
Shake a Leg by AC/DC. Balls
Wow.
to the Wall, some accept. Cold Gin. They do Seek and Destroy, but they change it to Drink and Destroy. They do Electric Eye, and you got another thing coming. So that's kind of cool to hear them doing the covers and stuff that's on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And here's a oddity. This is there was an ECW record that came out and it had different groups on it. Then it had Tres Diablos and it was Vinnie Paul, Dimebag, and Rex doing I Heard It on the X.
Heard it on
This
the
is
X.
this is the CD single for that. It's just that one song. It's a CD single that they
Cool.
did. It's got
That's awesome.
what Francine and stuff on.
Oh,
The
Francine was
W chick.
so hot.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, but that's
Nice.
kind of cool. That was a promo single. and this is the original version of Rebel Meets Rebel.
Oh yeah,
With the way Co-Pop Records released it
right.
before they decided to officially release it, and it's actually a different mix. It sounds different than the album that came out. Still the same
Cool.
songs and stuff
Cool.
on it. And one last thing, this is going back to their history. This is Terry Glaze's band after he left. When he left Pantera, he had this band Lord Tracy, and funny story is this came out in '89, and so this came out before Cowboys from Hell. They had a video for a song called "See You Later, Babe, I'm Going Out with the Boys." It's a party
Yep.
rock type song. So I go see Ace Frehley on the Trouble Walking tour, and they're the opening band. And me and my friend Ozzy, who was a Pantera fan like myself, we go to early because we're hoping to see, Ace. We wanted to try to catch Ace going in for sound check. Well, all the guys in Lord Tracy are hanging out. So we ended up hanging out and talking to them. Oh, you guys are Lord Tracy. Oh, yeah, seen your video on MTV. Dude, I'm standing there talking to Terry Lee. He tells me his name's Terry, talking to the dude. I have no idea that this is the guy that I've listened to for years, on 4 or 5 years now on Pantera. Because I would have been just going, dude, you were in Pantera, and because I mean Pantera hadn't broke yet, and I had no clue that was who I was talking to. Matter of fact, we all walked like down to Subway and got something to eat and came back and stuff. And it's just funny that I had no clue that that's who he was until after Pantera got popular. I remember reading in like Rip magazine that their singer left and formed Lord Tracy. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, that was that dude we were hanging out with. I had no clue, man. Just
That's
crazy.
funny.
And I've actually befriended him on Facebook, and we've talked back and forth. Matter of fact, I'd love to have him like come on and do a show or something with us sometime, because he,
Yes.
and I've told him that he should go that Keep It True Fest that they do in Germany. I swear, if he just put a band together called Metal Magic and went over and played those Pantera songs, that crowd would eat it up because they love that shit over there, man. They love all that classic metal stuff. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's something he should do. I'm sure the promoter would pay him pretty well to come over and do it,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything.
I gotta
And I
ask
showed
you-
my
I gotta ask you-
ex Hoarder CDs, so that's my that's the band that started it all.
Tony, I
When
gotta ask you
we were
about
talking
something.
about bands that wanted to sound like Pantera. I don't know if you guys ever heard this. Paul Di'Anno's Killers second album. This
Yeah.
sounds exactly like Pantera.
Good
Exactly.
album.
To the point it came out before Far Beyond Driven. And I remember I was playing it for people, say, hey, have you heard the new Pantera record? And I'd play them this, and he'd go, wow, this is cool. How'd you get this? But man,
When
it's like
I got the Last Exhorter album, I think they now are influenced by Pantera. Like
I
I'm like,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when I listened to it, I was kind of disappointed because it sounded like they were trying to sound more like Pantera. Now it's so weird how that happens. It's kind of like,
Yeah, you're right, man.
you could hear like Halford definitely influenced Phil singing, and then years later, here's Halford being influenced by Pantera, and now he's doing
Right.
Fight, and they're sounding like
Yeah.
Pantera. So weird how
Exactly,
that.
man. Totally. Because you remember, if you're a big Priest fan and like myself, you watched the way you knew how Rob moved on stage, and man, they did that one tour with Pantera, and on the Painkiller tour, Rob's all up there moving around like Phil on
He
stage
had
and all this
tattoos all he said he had
tattoos all
tattoos
over
all
him.
over the place.
Yeah,
He didn't have
man.
no
Totally.
tattoos.
That picture of Rob and Phil standing there together with the
Yeah,
shirtless is just still
yeah.
no comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tony, there's a song they played, a cover song they played in '90 called "Popular in High School" by Randy E. Bell and the Gary Curb Band. Do you know that
Not
song?
familiar with that. Mm-mm.
Okay. And they also played the song "This Bud's for You."
But that's probably the Budweiser commercial. They probably just did a
Yeah.
cover of it.
Right.
Okay. And
Yeah,
they
because
all
Neil
they
Young
look-
had that song "This Note's for You" when it got turned
Yeah.
into "This Bud's for You."
Yeah.
And they usually did Whiplash with Dimebag on vocals and Phil on guitar.
Yeah.
That whole
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah, that's in some of the videos and stuff.
I think
too,
that's
yeah.
on. I think that's on this, right?
It is,
Isn't
yeah,
on
it
this?
is.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
the volume 1 because volume 2 hasn't come out yet, or
Dime
Dime
Vision?
Vision?
No, the second one's out. I got it right here.
Yeah.
I forget the
So what's
second.
cool about Dime Vision 2 is it's a ongoing thing from Dime Vision 1, but then you get a CD with it with 5 tracks that are all songs that Dimebag sings and plays guitar on.
Oh wow!
You got a song called Twisted, and then you got Ain't No Struggle, True, Let's Go, and Whiskey Road, and they're all great songs. It's all good stuff.
Let's go. That's so.
But didn't
so
he and
interesting.
didn't Dime and Vinny have a little side band they were recording called Gasoline, and they were recording some tracks or something supposedly?
That was
That might be what that
that
is.
was a cover band
Okay.
that they had. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I believe it was called Gasoline or Gasoline Alley or something like that. And
I
yeah,
don't know
that
if
was a
you
cover band that they did.
yeah yeah that's I think that's what it was. I think I was reading something about that, and they were doing some covers and stuff in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like they would just go to the bar just to have the like, let's just go jam in front of a few people and show up, and it's Diamond Vinny, and they're doing a bunch of covers.
Here's another thing, Tony, I gotta ask you about because they on Power Metal Tour they did a cover of P-Cells, but they had Disciple XAD with them on stage. Do you know who that could be?
Mm.
Okay.
First I've heard of
Because
that.
they had that Power Metal Tour went into 1990.
Yeah, and they were still doing covers during that period too, I'm sure, in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So it's so weird that transition period is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I think
Well, this
in
was
1990
fun,
they
gentlemen.
played- Oh, sorry.
Yeah, man.
This was very fun. I would
Yep.
like to thank Tony Dio and Count Ralphus for finally being able to join us for an episode of Rank and File. It was great to have you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
I guess we'll figure out what the next band will be. And
How
there
about
will
the one
be
that you got on your shirt?
what's that?
Yes.
How about the one that you got on your shirt?
I've been saying for a while, let's do it.
Are you guys?
I
Yeah,
only like the first three. I only like the first 3 Death albums. When they got real
Okay.
technical, they
I like them
lost
all.
me.
I love them all. The first
I
three.
like
are my
the
favorite.
I like the primitive records where they sounded like Celtic Frost type stuff, Possessed.
I love the later stuff too, but it's definitely different, But the good thing about them is that it's not like a ton of albums. It's like
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a quick
6.
discography.
seven,
Sure.
6 or 7.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, man.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the like and subscribe button. Make sure you do that. Go in the comments and tell us what your ranking is of the 9 Pantera records because I love reading the comments, even the ones that say that I suck. They're all great. Ha! So, yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We're going to get the fuck out of here.
Get your
Have a good
pull.
night.